What's up, everybody? Hope all y'all are doing undeniably freaking tastic out there. It's Monday, and you know what that means. Long day once again. And folks, I've kind of been inspired by something this week. I've ended up having an idea creep into my mind, but I'll get to that in a minute. Hope you folks out there had a good week these past 7 days. Hope you folks out there have been having a good day up to the point where you decided to go ahead and click on this video. But, yeah. So, as we speak right now, I am still in the process of trying to get my May Day special in order. And I decided that, yes, I'm going to go ahead and have May Day be its own separate video. But I'm also still going to be doing the anniversary video, but I'm going to be doing the May Day video shortly after it, okay? Just like last year, I did Decade Day after I did the anniversary special. Anniversary special being the one where, I'm sitting in my normal table spot or whatever, and I'm talking about analytical jargon and showing highlights of the year, whatever. So I'm still going to be doing the anniversary special, but for May Day, I've been trying to shift some ideas around. I've been having to compromise a lot of things because I'll admit, there was something I wanted to do for the May Day special, but honestly, it didn't work out the way I wanted it to. Matter of fact, if I'm going to be completely honest, one of the reasons why I wanted to make that May Day special was because one of my ideas heading into Week Mania earlier this year didn't come to fruition. Didn't end up happening there. So yeah, one of the only reasons why I wanted to make May Day to begin with was because I had an idea heading into Week Mania that I didn't get to do. But now heading into May Day, that idea I wanted to do, it isn't happening either. So again, this is me trying to compromise, this is me trying to re-strategize, stuff like that. But that doesn't mean that May Day isn't going to be any less special. Alright? Because, again, I had an idea this week. Alright? I'm still going to do something I'm still going to try to do something to make May Day unique. Alright? I'm going to try to do something, so y'all just bear with me. But about this idea that I had, it kind of latches on to what I was talking about last week. For those of you that tuned into the vlog last week, some of you might remember that I was talking about the difference between chasing and running. Alright? So, with that in mind, if this idea of mine works, then come May 29th for the May Day special, if you tune in at just the right moment, you might be able to hear me making a major announcement. Some very, 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 very good news is on the way. Possibly. There's possibly some very good news coming here to SSP, like before June even gets here. Okay? Now, in regards to what that is, I don't want to jinx it. I don't want to spoil anything. Just know that I have never felt this inspired. Alright? I don't think I've ever felt this inspired. The idea for me to stop chasing something and start running towards something else, this announcement that I may have to make on the 29th might be a big example of that. Shortly after I film this vlog, I gotta go ahead and make that phone call to see if I can schedule anything, and then we'll go from there. I don't want to overplay my hand here, if that makes sense. So I don't want to, give too much details about it away. But y'all just stay tuned, okay? Because what my idea is I'm not just gonna say it for the video by itself. No. See, back in March, it was requested for me to sing for my church on May the 27th. May the 27th, I was requested to sing, and I said, you know what, yes, I will. But in light of this new idea of mine, I said, what better place to make my announcement than for my church in front of all those people right before I do my song? Like, it'll be the perfect news for the perfect environment with an absolute amazing announcement. So whatever's about to come, stay tuned. Stay tuned, because as soon as we get to the 11th anniversary, going from that moment on, something will be very, very unique. All right, that's all I can say. Something that you're not used to. All right. So, man, I'm hyping this up so much, but all I can say is pray for me. All right, pray for me. If this works out right, hopefully I got a few of you cheering for me too. But yeah. Other than that, folks, yes, I am still taking my time off for here in May because I am still trying to prepare this May Day special. I would have started filming sooner, but again, I had to re-strategize a few scene ideas. But my script's coming along fairly well, I think. There's going to be some skit ideas on this thing, but there's also going to be some extra goodies in here as well. Like outside the skit story for May Day, I'm also going to be including some extra footage as well. Like, you're going to be seeing all the drawings from my notebook. And what was that? I think a mosquito just tried invading my nose. Stopped the last second. Okay. Alright, but yeah. I might even show you my Russell land on Minecraft. Maybe. Possibly. All I can say is stay tuned for that. But now, I am going to be watching Double or Nothing this weekend, but I'm not going to ramble about it. And honestly, there's probably a very good reason for that too. Alright, I've been meaning to talk about this for a while because I've been thinking about it all week. Like, as a wrestling fan, I have an AEW problem. Alright? Now, when it comes to me and my enjoyment of AEW, I'll admit, at this point, I'm only tuning in so I can watch certain talent and, like, keep up with them almost. But, honestly, as much as I love wrestling, AEW has proven that, yes, that even I have my limits. Alright? AEW has become a bona fide buffet for any wrestling fan glutton. And truthfully, I feel like AEW has kind of made me full a little bit. So, man, where do I even begin with it? Where do I even begin with that statement? Alright, so mostly when it comes to AEW, I feel like they was only created out of spite. I know WWE, they get a lot of negative publicity because of what they don't do. And AEW, they've been trying to go above and beyond just to say, hey, look, we're going to be the biggest company. Look how much we're better than those Stanford folks. Something like that. But yeah, it feels like AEW was originally created out of spite just because they wanted to do what WWE wasn't. Alright? And heck, even the fans would remind you of that completely. Even the fans will remind you of that constantly. Because, like some of that, what's the word for it? Some of that toxic fandom. Some of that toxic fandom, I've been seeing it online. Like, a lot of that toxic fandom, they would keep arguing with each other. And if you happen to see any of that toxic fandom, you'll know what I'm talking about. But in regard to the AEW, all right, so there's too much to keep up with. Like, unless you're sitting down and you're trying to pay attention to like everything and nothing else, like AEW is going to be extremely hard to catch up with somebody like me who's trying to be the occasional fan, right? Arguably, AEW has become one of the reasons why I stopped trying to keep up with New Japan Pro Wrestling. And one very good example about wrestling being too hard to keep up with is the G1 Climax. All right. Back when I started watching New Japan back in like 2017, the G1 Climax was a very good concept, but it was something very hard to keep up with from every single day. Because what is it, like 2 blocks of 20 different wrestlers, 10 each. Everyone fights everyone else because like a round robin tournament, something like that. And again, super hard to keep up with. And Tony Khan himself, he was the one saying that, oh, he doesn't want a brand split. But heck, he doesn't want a brand split. Like, the Ruthless Aggression proved that once a brand split is dedicated to a certain roster, everything can be organized. It's WWE's own fault that they wasn't exactly being organized themselves with their own brand split or whatever. But I know Tony Khan, he could have been smart enough and responsible enough to have his own brand split in regards to Dynamite versus Collision. And I've already lost count about how many championships are actually in AEW at the moment. Heck, Tetsuya Naito, he said there was too many championships back in New Japan. It got to a point where he started throwing his Intercontinental Championship around like it was just nothing. He started dragging it around. He started like tossing it on the floor. He started like tossing it at the ring post. Because even he said that once you have too many championships, they don't feel special anymore. And, man, in regards to how some of the talent is used, one of the big words here is presentation. Presentation matters with a lot of this talent. And here's a very good example, all right? Very good example. All right, Deonna Purrazzo and Josh Alexander. Both Deonna Purrazzo and Josh Alexander, when they was in TNA, they was pushed to the moon. They were pushed to the moon. Josh Alexander, former TNA champion, he had a great TNA run. And now since he joined AEW, what's going on? Oh, he's another Canadian in the Don Callis family. Like he's not being utilized as often as he was back in his TNA days. Same with Deonna Purrazzo. I don't even know what she's doing nowadays. Oh, is she back on Ring of Honor? Because the Ring of Honor thing, that's kind of been disrespected too in a way, if you think about it. Like, why do you think they got rid of AEW Dark? Because Ring of Honor has become an AEW developmental, it looks like. What NXT is to WWE, Ring of Honor has become to AEW. And I really hate saying that. Ring of Honor doesn't feel the same way it did when it was its own promotion back in like 2017, 2018, the time I started watching it. Man, because when I did first start watching New Japan and Ring of Honor, like back around those times, yes, the hype of the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, the Kingdom back then, heck, even Shane Taylor back then, well, dude, Ring of Honor felt amazing back then. It felt gritty. It felt unique in its own way. It was just there, you know. But now, again, Ring of Honor feels like it's just become AEW's developmental. I wish that anybody else could have ran Ring of Honor except Tony Khan. Heck, I wish that it was only going to be like a temporary thing, because I kind of hope that Tony would have bought it and he would have sold it to somebody else. Say maybe a lot of you might laugh at this, but what if it was to go to Jeff Jarrett? Seriously, the same person that ran TNA could run Ring of Honor. Just my opinion. Just my opinion. I wish that Ring of Honor would have been its own thing if it wasn't connected with AEW. But back to the presentation thing. All right. I know every week everybody respects the memory of Brody Lee. Like right before he died, Big Rig Brody Lee, he ended up becoming the exalted one of the Dark Order. As much as they love Brody Lee and his legacy, you would have thunk that somebody like the Dark Order would have been pushed to the moon and would have been multiple champions by now. But people started leaving, storylines started falling through the cracks, and the Dark Order was basically forsaken. But that didn't stop John Silver from getting a pop when he walked past MJF this past Wednesday. Yeah, because he walked past, he did a little arm flex in front of him, and then everyone was cheering for that. Thankfully. Don't know who's honking. Okay. But lost my train of thought there for a second. Oh yeah. All right. Yeah. So back to the presentation thing. All right. At the end of the day, most of these wrestling promotions, they have go-to guys right off the bat. And when it comes to AEW, they have way too many big names for everybody to be successful. That's one of the reasons why there's so many championships. Alright, right before they left WWE, everybody was hoping that Rusev would have gotten a push. Everybody was hoping that Cesaro would have gotten a push. And now what are they doing? Now what are they doing now? Rusev ended up leaving. Rusev got to AEW, became Miro, and then Miro ended up going back into WWE. And right now Cesaro, he ended up becoming just another Death Rider. Just another assistant with Jon Moxley. And heck, now they're adding Will Ospreay to the group. Dude, you're adding Will Ospreay to the group even though you got Pac there. So now you got not one, but two flippy British guys. Congratulations, Death Riders. Again, it's about presentation, and when you have too many top guys, it's hard to keep up with all of them, and it's hard to say, okay, this is my top guy, this is my top guy, this is my top guy. And again, it's hard to keep up with. It's very hard to keep up with. The idea of there being a top guy is losing its charm when there's too many championships and there's not enough spotlights. Alright? Now, if there's anybody that might be doing it right, I'm starting to love TNA more and more and more. And they have a healthy balance of what is, and they have a healthy balance about almost everything else on their product. But again, AEW, it's starting to get a little bit sloppy to keep up with. Now, I do still check in on Dynamite from time to time, but Collision, not so much. Most of the time, I'm going to tune into just Dynamite and some of the pay-per-view events as well, whenever they come out. But, other than that, yeah, AEW's just kind of been hard to follow. Been really hard to follow. And I was honestly thinking about, if I ever had the time to just start, I don't know, looking into MLW, maybe. Because I did hear a lot of good things about that. I mean, I checked on its roster the other day, and I was happy to see that Killer Cross was there. I think they have Gallus there too, but don't quote me. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this vlog on up. I really don't know what else to say here, but yeah. Again, I'm working on May Day, and we're going to see how that turns out. And I'm still going to find a way to enjoy Double or Nothing this weekend, regardless, because it's still going to be pretty fun. And I'm ready to see a bald MJF. Okay. All right, but yeah. Thank you all for tuning in. I greatly appreciate it. And yeah. Until next time, make sure all of you remember to be outrageously optimistic year round. Booyah. I'm out. Love you all. Here comes my hug of appreciation. Bye.